Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, I have a message for you regarding a very insidious plague that is permeating the world and infesting our pop culture, our franchises, our literature, our stories, and mainly it really just boils down to our stories. Stories matter. This is something that in my mind is self-evident. Stories matter. We need them as a way to understand each other, as a way to play out scenarios that we might not otherwise be able to live in real life, but may come into play in our lives at some point. So stories help prepare us for them. So we have popular culture, which is mainly our movies and our television and our comic books and our video games. But again, this insidious kind of virus is infecting them, weakening them, and in turn weakening us. And as you may see from the title of this video, infantilizing us. Now, to be infantilized is essentially to take somebody who is an adult, or even someone who's a teenager, even someone who's an older kid, and kind of repress their emotional and mental ability to cope with things. And, that may be kind of a poor definition. Wikipedia, if you can, even Wikipedia suffers from this by now. But essentially, we have a culture that is built on these stories, and these stories are starting to weaken, and in turn, our inability to let them go or to leave them as a product of a moment in time or a moment in our lives, and continue to insist that they be perpetuated and continued, is opening them up for infection, so to speak. Of course, I'm speaking metaphorically here, but it's a very important thing to kind of keep in mind, and this is how I think of them. It's kind of like leaving an open wound or scratching at something, or you get the idea. So where to begin with this? Well, of course we love our franchises. Of course we have our childhood memories of the movies that, or the books that we read, or the comic books that help shape us as people. And sorry for the notifications. I thought I turned those off. But anyway, if they ping, or if you hear birds tweeting or any noises, I'm in the garage studio, and I'm not setting up for professional sound here. You're hearing what I'm saying. So, yeah, we may continue to read comic books based on a movie franchise, or we may name our pets after characters from stories that we love. These things are fine. We may collect certain items that we put on display in our homes or in our office cubicles that show that this is a story that we care about, and that's fine. I think sometimes people take it a little too far. Please don't name your children after fictional characters. Again, this is kind of falling into the infantilization of our society. And, you may say to yourself, well, Christopher, you're a filmmaker. You want people to obsess over your stories and buy your merchandise. And yes, of course I do, to a healthy degree. And there can be a healthy degree. But I think that the degree that a lot of people are insisting that we get more and more of something is degrading that thing, and therefore degrading us as well. We need to have a healthy attachment to stories, not an obsessive attachment to stories, to the point where, so this is something that I think I should note. The original story, the thing we love, and I'll use the Aliens franchise as an example. I love Alien and I love Aliens. After that, You may have seen that I dedicated a bunch of videos to why I don't think Alien 3 works. Now you may say to yourself, Christopher, isn't that kind of infantilizing yourself? Aren't you obsessing over Alien 3 and why you despise it? I don't actually despise it. I'm apathetic towards it, I'll say. No, the reason that I made all those videos is because I thought that the Alien franchise was doing very well, and I would have been happy to leave it at Alien 2. Alien 3 starts to detract from it in my mind. And so I made videos on why I think that is, because I'm a storyteller and I'm talking to other storytellers on why I think that it was wrong to do with the story what they did, why it doesn't work. So other stories may look upon those examples and learn from them and use them. I've certainly learned a lot from watching movies that I don't like. Now, does that mean that I think that Alien 3 should be decanonized or not exist or anything like that? Absolutely not. If you love Alien 3, then watch Alien 3. If you love Alien Resurrection, Aliens versus Predator, whatever, have at it. I actually feel like all I need is the first two, and I don't need to, I can choose not to acknowledge them. They don't have to play into my experience of the first two. Again, I just have comments as a storyteller of why I think it didn't work. I would have taken it in another direction. Actually, no, I'm going to take that back. I wouldn't have taken it in another direction. I would have just left it at the first two, because I think the story really ends there in a satisfactory way, and it's fine. And you may feel the same way about the original Star Wars trilogy, or you may like the prequels, or you may like what Disney did with the sequels, which a lot of people don't. And quite frankly, I'm glad that a lot of people don't, because they're awful, and it's kind of what I'm talking about. So let's hop over to the sequels and talk about what infantilizing means, how we've infantilized this franchise. We didn't need more Star Wars movies. Disney wanted more Star Wars movies because they wanted to make money, but it's obvious to me that they don't care about Star Wars, and what they gave us wasn't Star Wars. It was just kind of another movie reference, Men in Black. The Edgar suit, that cockroach thing, that cockroach alien crashes, and that guy goes walking up to the crater, and it sucks him in, and when it comes back out, it's wearing an Edgar suit. And everyone can tell it's not Edgar. Everyone knows there's something very wrong, but he keeps kind of like shuffling along, insisting to everybody, no, I'm Edgar, I'm fine, get me sugar, It's a great metaphor, actually. And so that's what I see right now. And there was a kind of a rather apt meme I saw of Kevin Smith walking around in a He-Man suit, and somebody in a Marvel character suit, and somebody in a Chewbacca suit. And that's what we're getting at the moment. We're getting all of these people who didn't create these franchises. They didn't do the work, and they didn't reap the reward. They just took what somebody else did, sounding like Jurassic Park, and they bought it, and they gutted it, and then they put the suit on, and they went walking around. And then when everyone went, well, this isn't what we want, this isn't Star Wars, they started fighting you, and they started going like, what, you don't want this? This is, you're ungrateful, you're this, you're that, you're obviously a bad person, we're giving you what you want. Well, no, they're not, and they can't, because they don't understand it, they don't respect it, they don't like it. And the fact is that that's kind of the fault of the fandom. Sorry, this is the infantilization part. We let this happen. We decided that we wanted more. We wanted more. And that's because we didn't take the time to actually understand what excited us about it in the first place and what made it special. We just started acting like we wanted more of that. We wanted to recreate that experience. We wanted to relive our childhood. We wanted to, just more. It's just like, and you can't have more of the same thing and still have it be special. The first time I tried, New York cheesecake. It was fantastic. And I still love New York cheesecake, but I only eat it every once in a while because A, it's not very good for me to just keep consuming it constantly, which again, really, it can get unhealthy to consume stories constantly over and over again. They're the same stories. You will fill up on them, and they again will not be special. And you will have spent a lot of that time that you won't get back on them, where you could be spending it on something that is special, which I'm going to get to. So I'll get back to the kind of just, consuming things over and over again, or more of the same thing. There's a diminishing return. But the thing is that that's our fault, because we go and we watch it, and then we complain about it. They call it hate watching it, or, like, well, I'm a fan, so of course I'm going to see it. And I heard this a bunch of times. I didn't like the new Star Wars movie, but, because when it comes out on special edition, 5-disc Blu-ray, I'm going to buy it because otherwise my collection won't be complete. Well, there's the problem right there. That is the problem. The studios, these people, they don't care about you. In a lot of instances, they hate you. They don't respect you. They don't respect what you love. And yet, you're giving them money. And so for them, that's a vote to keep doing it, to keep making more crap. And they're lazy. The more that they can just, put out crap and put no effort into it, and you still give them money, the more they're going to do that. So, it doesn't matter if you hate it. It doesn't matter if you complain to them. The Rock says it doesn't matter. You need to exhibit, and I've heard other people say this as well, apathy towards this stuff. Complete apathy. Do not go see it, I have a Disney Plus account. Because it's because my kids love Hamilton and they want to watch that over and over again. And that's fantastic. Again, I'll come back to other experiences because Hamilton kind of factors into that. I watched Loki. I enjoyed it. I see how it doesn't mesh with the rest of the Marvel universe, and I agree with the problems that it presents, but I enjoyed the performances and I enjoyed some of the concepts. I got into it, and it was something different and unique. I didn't like Captain America and Winter Soldier, or whatever, Falcon and Winter Soldier. I turned it off after one episode and I was like, who cares? WandaVision I stuck with, and I was like, I'm not watching that again and never getting that time back. The Mandalorian I've been enjoying, but again, it's just kind of the Mandalorian. What I like about the Mandalorian is it's just, and Loki, is they're just their own thing. In my mind, they kind of stand apart. They're good, but they're not great. I've got the Disney Plus subscription, so they come on, they watch it. If the kids said, "Hey, we're bored of watching Disney Plus stuff," and my wife said, "Hey, let's cancel it and get a different video on demand service," I'd be like, fine. It wouldn't bother me if I missed these things, because they're good, and to some people, maybe younger people, they're making those new memories. But I don't need them because I've got other things. I've got my own projects, and I happen to think that they're special. And I think when you see them, you're going to see them as something new and fresh and special, and you're going to enjoy them in ways that you just, hopefully you didn't even think of, like, oh, this is something new and different. And I'm building them up grassroots because I don't see, essentially, I'm making films, creating projects that I feel a desire to make because I want to watch them and they don't exist. I'm just like, hey, I would really love to watch this film where these things happen. It doesn't exist. I don't get to watch it. So, anyway, I'm going off into the reeds a little bit here, but this is the point where I say, like, look, here's what you got to do. Here's how you are a fan of these things without infantilizing yourself, without feeding the machine that is destroying your childhood. And by the way, it's not destroying your childhood. Again, apathy. just exhibit apathy. If you don't like these things, do not buy them. Do not give these people money. They don't respect you. They don't like you. They don't care about what you like. But nothing that they can create will ever take away from the experience that you had when you were a child. You yourself may take away from that experience by trying to relive it, and being disappointed, either by the fact that maybe the thing that you loved as a kid isn't actually as good as you thought it was. And, again, here's something that we got to keep in mind. There are certain things that we loved as kids that if you go back and watch now, you're just not going to enjoy them like you did. And that's okay. You shouldn't obsess over them. You shouldn't try and relive that. That was when you were a kid. You're an adult now. And the world needs more adults. The world does not need you obsessing over, again, I won't name any franchises because, everybody feels differently about different franchises. But I'll just say that the things that I loved as a kid, most of them I don't need. I don't need those Saturday morning cartoons. I don't need those after school cartoons. I'm an adult now. I want things for grown-ups, and that doesn't just include entertainment. But again, I'll get to that. But go back and enjoy, what you like. It'll always be there if you need it. I think it's great that there are, groups on the internet where you can go and talk about the things that you love. I think that's fantastic. I also think it's fantastic, again, I'll use the Alien franchise as an example. There are novelizations, there are comic books, there are video games, there are all sorts of ways to enjoy it. But the movies, they're done. They're terrible. They are terrible. I'm sorry. You may enjoy them, but the truth is you're most likely trying to make them be more in your mind than they actually are because you want them to be as good as that original experience. And that's where you're infantilizing yourself. That's where you're fooling yourself. And again, these are products. These are not works of art, and they're usually made by people who are unfulfilled. They have no imagination. A lot of times it's obvious that they're miserable, and they're actually trying to subvert the entertainment to spread their misery. It seems to be the message of a lot of these new products is just, we know you love this thing, watch us step on it in front of your eyes and make you feel as miserable as we are. And that's really, to me, again, why I want to make my own stuff, why I'm not interested in these franchises anymore, why I feel complete apathy towards them, is because I feel like I live in a world of zombies walking around in skin suits, just trying to spread misery. I feel like the whole world is just being run by miserable people, and we're letting them do it. We're just giving them our money. We're giving them our consent and going, yes, please give me something that sort of looks like what I love, even if it really is just a wrapping that when I open it up is just going to explode with misery all over me and make me feel unhappy and angry. Why would I give my money to people like that? Why would I degrade myself and just act like this eager little child at Christmas time that'll take whatever gift you throw at them because I don't have the mental capacity to know the difference. But even kids know the difference. Kids are very smart. I feel like it's the adults who have forgotten, the adults who are becoming too accepting of this stuff. So what do we do about it? Again, here's my advice. Don't go watch the new movie. Don't collect don't be waiting for every toy release, okay? Now, that's not saying don't collect stuff. What I want you to do is I want you to look out for things that are special, things that are crafted, and whether it be the story, the form of entertainment, or the collectible. I happen to love movie posters. I happen to love, I happen to love certain toys. I have some toys that I collected, very few. A matter of fact, I could probably count on both hands, 10 fingers, how many toys I actually have. And I have posters that I love. The reason that I have them is because I looked at them and I went, wow, these are well crafted. These are special. I don't need to collect every single thing that they, like Jurassic Park, stamp on a lunchbox. I don't need every new edition of every new release of a variant toy design. I don't need that. And it's, I'm sorry, but it's childish thinking. Don't, and this may sound like an anti-consumerism message. I think consumerism is actually great. It keeps our economy running. And again, I'm going to be doing a series soon called 12 Rules for Artists, where I talk about some of the business aspects of things. Consumerism can be a good thing when the consuming public has a sense of quality and taste and understands value. We are consuming things that have no value. So look for those things that are well crafted. Look for those things that have care put into them. Look for those things that reflect a quality, a passion, and excitement from the people producing them, saying like, we are creating this thing and we are spending our time on it and making it beautiful, wonderful, so that when you have it in your home, you will look at it and feel some of that passion, feel some of that excitement we had, and it'll enrich your environment, as opposed to we're just churning out junk after junk from the gift shop that, as you leave the movie theater or you leave the theme park ride or something, you're just going to be so hyped and you're going to buy it and you're going to bring it home, and then it's going to become a chew toy for the dog in a few months because, you realize that you bought a piece of junk. Don't do that to yourself. Recognize quality. Recognize what makes something special. Recognize that specialness it's like lightning in a bottle. You can't keep repeating it, so stop asking for it to be repeated. I could go on. I really could. And I've thought about this a lot, but again, it's misery wrapped in the skin suits of what we loved, and it's bringing us down intellectually, morally, physically. It's making us into the kind of just these, simplified versions of ourselves. And that's another thing. Like I said, these things are simplified and they're taking up all our time. They're taking our attention away from things that matter. There are real problems in the world that I think could be fixed if individuals would just kind of be more aware of the environment around them and take more time and care in organizing that and making the immediate environment around them, better, taking some charge of it. Because while we're not doing that, other people are taking charge of it, and we're getting more and more rules imposed on us every day. You can do this, you can't do this. And it's kind of turning into this like collective hive mind crowd mentality where you do something and people go, you can't do that. Why are you doing that? This is, the rules say you can't do that. We need you to behave more like this, and real issues that are complex and require some real thought. We're not giving ourselves any time to consider them. We're getting the hot take and we're running with that. And that doesn't do anybody any good because the hot takes are generally wrong or outright lies. And again, we're losing our happiness. We're losing our autonomy, which is very important. We're losing the quality of life. As Ray Bradbury said in Fahrenheit 451, there are three things required to really bring that quality back, and now it's leaving my head what they are, but it's something to the effect of quality of material, a willingness to take the time to engage in it, and then after that, the third thing is time to comprehend it. We're just being rushed along into this, like, watch the next movie. You want the next movie. That movie wasn't very good. I didn't like that movie, but maybe they'll make a sequel that will fix what they did the last time. Or, people start, again, wasting all their time, hours, days, months, years of their time trying to kind of use headcanon. And if you don't know what headcanon is, canon, there's the, the official word on how a story went. And then there's headcanon, where people kind of start rationalizing all the problems with the story in their mind. And then in their mind, that's canon to the movie. It's like you're spending all your time fixing all the story problems from bad writers, and you're not even realizing how ridiculous the hoops are you have to jump through to make this crap make sense, and it's wasting all your time. And there's so much more you could be doing with that time. You could be out with your family, you could be gardening. I love gardening. You could be going to the theater. Now, that's not just because I have produced a play with Bill Oberst Jr., again, about Ray Bradbury, but I went to see even a school play. My kids wanted to go see a school play, high school play of Mamma Mia, and the kids were great. It's kind of a weird story, but it was really wonderful to be engaged in that that atmosphere of actually, real people. What's happening is happening right in front of you on the stage. It's not something that just repeats over and over on a screen. It's actors giving it their all in a moment in time that will never be recreated, and that's wonderful. That's why I interviewed Gigetto, who is a puppeteer who does live performances. I want you to get out there and see those live performances, see those concerts. Go take a boat ride, go to a library and check out a physical book, and go find a nice place to read it. Go on an adventure. I am a filmmaker. I am a storyteller. And of course, I want you to watch my stories and buy my merchandise. But I want you to do it because I've created something of value, something of quality, something that enriches your life. I don't want to see you waste away on just generic stamped out crap that has you hypnotized because the original gave you something special. And you're just craving that again like a junkie. It's not healthy, and it's not helping art. It's not helping the quality of art. It's diminishing the quality of our art. And we're just, like I said, going to keep getting diminishing returns. And I'm very concerned about that, because if we don't have quality of story in our lives, then we don't have quality of thought. And if we don't have quality of thought, then we can't think. And if we can't think, our society crumbles. And I see that problem right now. And so I'm imploring you, take what I have to say, give it some thought, give your time to things of quality, people of quality. Express not hatred, but apathy towards the things that don't have quality. Because hatred, that's just more of your energy. And whatever the energy you give something, it's still energy for it. If you deny a plant water, it will wither and die. So whatever energy, whether it be love or hatred, that you give something is water to it. Just deny it. Let it die. And, and I know that's like the let the past die thing, which was, again, they were using that as a way to justify what they were doing to your franchise. But honestly, it's more of like, yeah, let the past die. Don't go see these movies. Don't go give these people your money. Engage in that quality. And it's my vow to you, as long as it takes, and there'll be an update on my movie, The Quantum Terror, soon, because there's, again, some issues getting that done. But there are issues because I care about the quality of it. I care about my audience. I care about the world around me. The audience is the world around me. Everything that I do, adds a little bit to the atmosphere, adds a little bit to what my world is. And if we don't care about the quality of everything around us, of thought especially, then we're just asking for a diminished world and a diminished life. And life is too precious for that. So that's why stories matter. And that's why I think it's great to be a fan of something, but it's no good to the franchise or the art or the person if we infantilize ourselves. So thanks for watching. That went on a little longer than I thought. Again, please be sure to like and subscribe. Hope you weren't sitting in front of your screen. You're doing something else while I ranted, but Thanks. I will be back with more videos soon. Like I said, I'm going to do my 12 Rules for Artists series, as well as get around to some tutorials and hopefully news about when the Quantum Terror is coming out and more projects to come after that. So thank you very much, everyone. Really appreciate all of you. And, yeah, I'm feeling kind of mushy. I love you guys. Do you love me? You don't have to love me. All right. Bye.